Hey guys, gals and legionnaires, Rycon here, and welcome back to the second session of the Ruined Age playtest. I'm joined once more by the indomitable Izak Tait from Stormforge Productions. And I, Alistair, will be... Try that again. Alistair, will be continuing my journey on towards Castle Searguard, where I'm travelling along with my trusty companion, Ian, who is my shipmate, who is sailing me there on this fantastical, not magical, but wonderful contraption. Somewhat magic, I suppose. We've got some runes in there. So, Ian, how far are we?
I would say once we're around the next cliff, we should see the castle.
Good. The night does go on. Should be there in time. I don't want to be late, you see. Quite fond of my entrances, and having them be subtle.
His silence tells you he gets exactly what you're talking about.
Great, good. I like that. I like this guy already. Okay. Alright, well, I will stand at the helm and keep a watch. Try and maybe start to scope this castle out once I get in sight, get an idea of what I'm dealing with.
Okay, it's about maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes more, and you pass the next cliff and you see the castle in the distance. Even though it's dark, you definitely can't see it. You can see it's quite well lit up in a variety of colours, all blues and greens and reds and yellows.
Fancy.
You suspect it is probably light produced by arrays like the one you've got tattooed, and probably just puts like coloured lenses over them to shine them on the castle. The castle itself is mostly just one tall circular building, a very large keep. It sits right on the water. You can see part of it is actually already over the water, and there's docks all around this circular building. There are some ships already there. Some have pulled out further to sea and have dropped anchor. You suspect they're already the guests have already left those boats. As you get closer, Ian starts following another boat that's heading for one of the piers. What would you like to do? Do you want to do anything before it gets there, or?
I guess I would just prepare myself, and I'm probably not going to be able to carry everything in there and not seem uber conspicuous, as I'm sure they probably won't allow open carry. They don't have an open carry policy in Castle Searguard, do they? No.
Well, you're not sure, but
yeah,
you can
exactly.
probably guess with a lot of guests of a prominent duke. There's probably a lot of other VIPs around there, so they probably won't be allowing any overt displays of weaponry.
Yes. Okay, well in that case I will remove my sword and my pistol, and I will leave them. I guess I'll just take the whole belt with them off and just kind of hang it somewhere for safekeeping on the ship, somewhere that's just, not just going to be picked up and stolen by some boy in the shipyard, but yeah.
All right.
And I'll keep my two trusty bronze shock knuckles. I won't obviously not keep them on, but keep them, just behind me on the old utility belt. Alright, so after I've got that, unhook it, get it onto somewhere safe, and just prepare and get ready to step off once we get there.
The boat in front of you, as the guest has left from that boat, and it leaves, and Ian starts maneuvering the ship closer to the pier. You can see once again he starts fiddling with the levers and the toggles and things. You can hear the jets underneath the boat start up again. It pushes and pulls the boat towards the dock. There's a slight thump as it hits the pier, and some of the dock workers there attach the rope to the pier, and it's safe for you to depart.
I slap Ian on the back and say, "Well, it appears we are here."
He just responds with a
Yes.
And before you leave, he does touch your shoulder and he hands you a small copper disc.
I inspect said copper disc.
What you can see on it is just an array that once again just creates light. And what's special about this array is it only creates light if it touches wood.
Okay.
And he says, if you want to signal me to come back, just use that.
I see. Handy. Very well. I appreciate this added token.
He nods.
All right. In that case, I disembark and keep this thing safely in a pocket for now.
The dockworker throws the ropes back onto the boat, and the jets start up once more, and Ian maneuvers a boat out further to sea, where it's anchored with all the other ships and boats that are just floating around waiting for their guests to return. As you're close to the castle now, you can see it's not just one singularly tall circular building. There are some smaller buildings attached to it. They're all built in as circles. You can probably guess it was built using the arrays. There seems to be about 5 circular buildings attached to the central keep. There is a pathway leading through the gardens to the front of the castle, and all along the pathway are small lights of all the different colors of the rainbow, leading the way towards the front door.
All right. So you say the construction of this was done with runes?
From what you can guess, it would be the easiest way to construct such a large building, and because it's all done as circles, you can probably safely
assume as much. Yeah. I can imagine it would still, even though you're using the resources that are around you, so that's saving you kind of resource costs, but I'm imagining the energy needed to build something like that is still...
Oh, it would still be staggering.
Yeah, so you'd still have people maybe hammering at sigils, or is this more like a, would they be using something else?
It's, well, what you can tell it's a very old castle.
Right.
So you know that they probably weren't as squeamish back then, especially the nobles, so they probably did have a good helping of blood. But you also know that since it was the nobles that did build this, they probably did use a good store of orichalcum to create these buildings.
Of course, and orichalcum is the only other thing other than blood
and energy.
And energy, obviously, that can power a rune.
Yeah, and orichalcum is the most powerful form of fuel you can use on an arrow.
I see. Okay, right. So it's rare, to say the least.
More rare than gold, and you can only use orichalcum on an array once, so it makes virgin orichalcum, as it's called, even more rare.
Right. Okay.
So there's still quite a few guests mingling outside the front door. You see all variety of golds and silvers and other precious metals, precious stones. They are very, very rich people. You don't know who anybody is, they're all wearing masks.
Of course.
But when you arrive and join this group, you can see that the guards at the front door, they start letting people in after checking their invite. Do you want to do anything before you get to these guards, or
make sure my mask is secured properly on my face? The lion mask, wasn't it? Yes. Keep that nice and secure, and I guess I'll start to approach. Are there any banners or flags, or maybe, I'm looking for, coat of arms, something that would symbolize the house, maybe the Duke's, what's the word I'm looking for?
His noble family, I assume you mean? His house, yes.
Yeah.
There are flags flying across the castle. The most prominent ones is the Alfresian flag, because that's the island you're on. But there are some flags that you assume to be the Duke's. It is a red and gold flag with a black lion's head. And as you approach the guards, you can see they're also dressed in red, gold, and black.
Red, gold, and black. Okay. Well, I guess my expressions are hidden from these guards, so I'll just try and sound as calm as possible as I get my invitation ready to try and enter the building.
It's your turn with the guards, and one of them says, "Evening, sir. How can I help you tonight?"
I believe this is what you require.
The guard takes it and studies it for quite a while. You can see his lips move a little bit as he's reading the invite. Probably not the most literate of men, but he does get the gist of it after all. "Seems to be in order, sir. Have yourself a very nice evening."
My thanks. Give him a bit of a nod and move on past.
You move past and you can hear the same routine being said to the person behind you. As you move into the castle, you can see that there are more flags and banners of the Duke specifically hung inside. You can't see any Alfresian coats of arms or flags hung. You can see it's a very, very specific type of atmosphere that is trying to be created. You can also see that there are quite a few intersections of hallways that you pass through, but all along the walls of this hallway you're on are lights set. So there's a path you can follow. There are, of course, people in front of you can also follow.
I suppose I would try and follow the majority of the crowd, see where they're going to, where they're being led to, and keep an eye out for anyone that does stand out, someone that might seem more proper. Yeah, just obviously the Duke and his family will be probably some of the more eloquently dressed out of the rest. So yes, I'm just looking for anyone that does seem to be maybe even have a little bit more authorities directing people, or like I said, just a little bit more eloquently dressed than the rest.
Okay, you can't quite tell as yet in the hallway as you and the rest of the group is walking, but as soon as you get to the grand hallway, which is a very large circular room, and you can see it seems to be from the distance you've walked inside the grand keep. Once you get inside, you can immediately tell there is almost a color coding to the people in this grand hall. From what you can tell, the most expensively dressed men and women wear dark reds. You also see a very dark green, which is a bit more sedate, and you can see it has a bit more of a local feel to the style of clothing and of fashion. You can probably guess they're perhaps politicians. You see quite a few blues, and they're quite almost like a uniform because they are quite identical. You assume they're the military. You see the black clothing as worn is very, very somber, very sedate. Not very much ornamentation on them. You can there's probably the priests that have been in, the bishops and archbishops that have been invited, and then you can tell them a little bit more colourful, but not as fashionable. You can see this is probably the lesser nobles that have been invited, the lesser politicians, you among them.
Right. More of a rabble. It's a combination of
Yes.
colours and things. We don't have a set theme.
No. Of course, you can also see the edges of this grand hall. More guards and also servants. They're all dressed in the same red, gold and black you saw the guard at the front door had.
Right, I see. The servants and the guards, they're not wearing masks, or they are?
The guards aren't wearing masks, you can all see their faces, but the servants are all wearing black lion masks.
Black eye masks, right, okay. So, there are a lot of people in this room.
You assume there to be, at the moment, a good maybe 80, 90 people. There are still people pouring in from outside. It's a little bit. It's trickling down after you came in. You were part of the stragglers, so you can, if you wait a few minutes, maybe a good 10 minutes, you'll see perhaps 120, 130 people in this hall.
I see. Okay, I don't suppose there are any large thrones or chairs or something that someone of importance might be sitting on.
Indeed, there are. There is one large chair. It's the only chair in this grand hall. You can see there's no tables or chairs for sitting. This seems to be a dancing hall or a socializing hall. This elevated throne, with carved in it and with lots of lines all across its white marble, is sitting a man. And there's not quite the same red, gold and black as the servants and the guards, but you can tell they took their style from his outfit.
Right.
And he as well is wearing a black lion mask, but a very, very fancy, very ornamental black lion mask. You can see there's lots of silver and gold threads all through it. And
okay.
You assume this to be the Duke.
Okay. Right. In that case then, I might run along the assumption that if his guards and his servants are wearing the same things, that perhaps maybe his daughter might be wearing the same things. Like you say, the red, gold, and black?
Red, gold, and black.
Okay. Now, I did have a drink when I was talking to Sebastian, and he gave me those details. My memory might be somewhat foggy on what he did give. Is there any way I can do a check?
Right, do a lore check and see what you can remember.
Okay, my lore is 30.
I'll keep it without modifier just to see how much you can remember.
Okay. 63.
Not much.
No.
Anything specific you wanted to remember?
Obviously, physical details aren't going to help me out very much here, but may help me cut down even the smallest amount.
Physical details about the Duke or
His daughter.
his daughter. You can't remember that Sebastian gave any sort of clues as to what she looked like. Or even what she will be dressed as.
I see. I might need something of a elevated position. Not, way above, but perhaps even if it's just a slight step up to see above the crowd.
There does seem to be a second story to this grand hall. Not inside the hall, but you see that it does have a balcony that runs inside the grand keep and overlooks the grand hall.
I see. I'll attempt to get there. What are the colours like up there? Is it a specific colour? Would I look out of place, is what I mean, if I was to be up there?
You can't see too many people up there from the quick looks you can get up there without seeming suspicious. There aren't any of the coloured lights up there.
Right.
And what you see seems to be the red, gold, and black clothing you see walking about up there.
I might see if I can try and get up there, at least just to get a kind of bird's eye view of the crowd that's beneath us.
Okay, how would you like to attempt that?
You did say there was one area, there was a way that was lighted, wasn't there? Was that the way that I ended up going, or did I follow people?
The hallway, the lit hallway with the lights, that's the hallway you did, everyone was following.
Everyone went down that one. Okay, right, I see.
There are also a few more hallways. There's 5 hall entrances to this grand hall. One is just beside the Duke, the other 4 are on the compass positions.
Okay. None of them seem to have the same kind of lights that the entranceway that I came down did?
From what you can tell, the one across from the entrance you came in also seems to be as lit.
Okay. I'll take a quick jaunt down there, see if I can see any staircases that seem to be leading up. It might go to that balcony.
If you just look into the hallway from the grand hall, it does seem to carry on for a fair bit before turning around a corner, but there is also one hallway coming off from the side of it.
I'll have a quick look down if I can.
Okay, as you walk down, the lights along the hallway continue on and around the corner, but the hallway coming off it is unlit.
I'll try and go down this unlit hallway.
Okay, roll a stealth check to see if anybody spots you. Since it is quite a busy time at the moment, everyone is coming in and everyone's attentions will be on each other. So I would say give you a plus 20 to your roll.
Okay, well, Alistair just so happens to be a pretty stealthy guy. I'm 50 by itself, so you said plus 20?
So that's 70.
Okay, so I'm going to be 70. Okay, come on. 54. Okay, so good enough, eh?
You slip into this unlit hallway, unnoticed. As you creep along it, you do see it does, after turning a corner as well, lead to a staircase going up.
I see. I'll attempt to take the stairs.
Okay, it is a fairly long staircase that is quite winding, but once you get to the top of it, you do see that you're on this balcony overlooking the grand hall.
I see. Okay. I'll just try to, without drawing too much attention to myself, just wander on towards the kind of edge of the balcony and look down from above.
Yeah. First, do a perception check to see if you can see anyone else nosing about on this balcony.
Yes, because there were a small amount of people up here, wasn't there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so my perception is 30. Okay. 22! Okay, so 30, yeah.
Okay. You do see that the servants but you assume you saw up here have left, but there are a few guards. They're all standing on the railing of the balcony looking in. So none of them are looking in your direction, and you presume that should you stay quiet enough and out of sight enough, they won't draw their attention to you.
I see, okay. In that case, yes, I do kind of quietly just...
Roll a stealth check, just in case. I'll give you a +10 to this, since I did just... This instance, you did just see their attentions are elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that makes 60. 37.
Okay. Right. You're at the balcony right next to a column, and you look over at this roughly 100 and some people down at the first floor, socializing. You can see drinks are being handed out by servants, and everyone seems to start having a good time. You can see the band, there's no corner in the round hall, but in one end seems to be tuning their instruments. Anything specific you're looking for?
I'm wanting to see if I can see any females in the red, gold, and black. Trying to see the Duke's daughter amongst the bustling crowd. So perception, yes. Okay, 30. And 34. It's close, but...
Just failed. But from what you can tell, there are, like I said, the very highborn are all wearing dark reds, which is the same dark red as the Duke. So there are a few ladies down there. You would say perhaps maybe 9, from what you can tell. 9 ladies wearing dark reds.
Okay, 9. Right. It's quite a lot. Alright, okay. I don't know what she looks like. And I suppose even if I did, they're all wearing masks. Yes?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong. This is her home.
No, her home is back in Cernmere in Gaeland.
Right.
But she is visiting here with extended family. So this is a family member's home of hers.
I see. So, she probably wouldn't have maybe one of the main rooms, but I'm guessing at least something of a lavish guest room.
That's a fair assumption to make.
Yes. Okay. I think I'm going to try and go back down the stairs from here, avoiding those guards, because I think if I went anywhere else on this balcony, I would most likely encounter
them. You have to pass, but you can just go directly behind you to go back down the staircase.
I will go back down the staircase then. Again, just trying not to draw any attention to myself.
That's easy enough. You did succeed on your last stealth check, so you're back down the staircase, all the way down, back into the hallway.
All the way down.
Okay. Now, what would you like to do?
Okay, so I'm gonna want to head back down the hallway where I came from originally. Go back down towards where the lit hallway is, where those lights were, and try and find another staircase or another passage up, perhaps.
Okay. As you walk around the hallway, do an investigation check to see if you can find another staircase at least further up into this keep.
Okay. Investigation. I have an investigation of 30. Okay. 30!
Alright. Just made it. It takes you some time. You do have to, hide yourself behind a statue or a suit of armor as guests and servants walk past. But eventually you do find what seems to be a servant staircase. It's not stone like the other staircase you just left. It's a wooden staircase, a quite narrow spiral staircase.
Okay. Alright, I will attempt to take it as quietly as possible.
Okay. Alright, you climb the staircase. It does have an exit on every floor. The first exit you find is also on this balcony. The next one you find seems to be just another hallway. Do you want to stop there, or do you want to go further up?
I'm going to want to continue up, I think. I'm imagining if she is staying somewhere, it's probably going to be right up. So I'll go as high as I can, within reason. I'm not going to go on the roof. Yeah.
Okay. You climb up 3 more stories, and then if you look up the staircase, you can see it ends on the 7th floor. Do you want to get off the 7th or on the 6th?
Ends on the 7th, you say?
Yeah.
I'll go 7th. I'll go to the top.
Okay, you get on the 7th, you see, this is, strange enough, it is lit, but not the same small lights you saw on the ground floor, but it's a lit hallway that curves around out of sight on either ends. Which way do you want to go, left or right?
I'll start off left.
Okay. Do you just want to check inside each room, or do you have anything specific in mind?
It's going to take a lot of time to check every single room. I guess I'll try and walk as far around as I can, and see where that gets me.
Right. Do another investigation check to see if you can at least tell anything from your brief trip.
Okay. So investigation of 30.
I'll say plus 10, since you'll have enough time to give it a proper look.
Okay. 40. 50.
Okay, so you didn't quite make it. What you do, however, find is that the hallway goes all the way around. So it's
right,
circular. So eventually you do make it back to this spiral staircase. There are 3 other staircases leading down, if that's what you got. You did find what you believe to be the master suite, but the other doors all seem to be fairly the same. You can't quite tell one from another.
Okay. I don't think she's going to be the master suite. I'll try the 6th. The floor below. The
floor below, it seems to be quite similar. It's not as lavish as the 7th story, but it's well above what you could afford. Seems to be the same circular hallway. Do you want to do another investigation check to see on here, or?
I'd like to try and go to the same spot that the master suite is upstairs, down here on the 6th floor.
Right. It does seem to be the bedroom for this floor.
Right.
Do you want to try this one?
Yeah. First I'll listen, try and see if there's any noise from inside, and if I can't hear anything, I'll try the door.
Right. Perception check.
76.
You can't hear anything from inside.
No, I go deaf. Yeah.
As far as you're aware, there's no sound inside.
Okay, in that case, I very cautiously take a hold of the handle and attempt to turn.
It is unlocked.
Okay, I turn the handle and push the door open just so I can peek through the gap.
It is dimly lit inside, not quite enough for you to tell anything more than vague shapes, but enough that you could probably see it was lit so someone can come in without stumbling and hurting themselves.
Right, okay. I take a quick look to the right and the left, and...
Can't see anyone?
I move inside.
Okay, you close the door behind you, I assume?
I close.
Okay, as you let your eyes adjust to the dark, you can see that this is a bedroom for a guest, at least. You can see there are still quite a few chests that are unpacked. Any place specifically you want to have a look? What you can see is quite a few chests, a 4-poster bed, a nice writing desk, and a vanity.
Okay. The first thing I'll want to do is take off one of my fine politician-like gloves. Just put that in my pocket for now. I want to unfasten my coat and remove a vial.
Alright.
Just a dab, just the smallest amount. I want to dab onto the tattoo, light tattoo on my hand.
The tattoo absorbs the blood and it starts to glow quite brightly. You've added quite a bit of light to this room.
So when it does start to glow quite brightly, I'll just kind of cover it and then just let it out and kind of use it as my light to guide and to have a finer look at some of the aspects of the room.
Okay, with this light now, you can tell that it's definitely a woman who's staying here. You can see quite a few dresses have been put out over the bed. You can see what seems to be jewelry and makeup on the vanity. And there is a portrait on the writing desk. The portrait is about 2 feet tall and is a family portrait. You can see a mother, a father, and a daughter. You assume that the father is definitely the Duke. You can tell he is in his customary red, gold, and black with a prominent black lion head on his breast. So you think this is probably his wife and then his daughter. You can tell they're quite tall people and all red-haired and blue-eyed.
Red-haired, blue-eyed, and quite tall.
From what you can tell, it is a portrait, but you can reasonably assume they're tall people.
Okay. They do embellish somewhat in portraits, don't they? So, okay. Tall, red-haired, blue eyes.
And this does seem to correspond with what you saw with the Duke. He did have a mask on, but he was a taller than average fellow.
Right. Okay. I will continue my search. I will head over towards the vanity. You said there was some jewellery and other bits of finery.
Yeah. At a quick glance, you can't see anything that you would think is as amazing as a empress's necklace. Do an investigation check if you want to have a good rummage around. Well, a careful rummage around.
Careful rummage with my nice little light source.
Because you do have a fair amount of time. You do have a light and you have sole access to it. I would say plus 20 to your investigation check.
It's going to put me at 50. So we're at a 50-50 chance. 11.
Right, that's a fantastic. So, do you have any specific amount of time you want to spend?
Enough time that I can be sure that I'm not being an idiot or a buffoon and missing my goal staring me straight in the face.
You should take a good 10 minutes, which is probably longer than you should, but you double check it. There are small necklaces here. They're very fine made necklaces, but the symbol of the empire is the eagle. There's nothing that's screams imperial. It screams the empire of man. Nothing. No eagles. No falcons.
No screaming eagles. Okay. Yeah.
No avians among this jewelry.
Well, with that complete ornithological absence, I'm going to vacate the room. But putting my glove back on my hand, making sure that the light is contained within there. Doesn't seem to be leaking through.
No, it's over the time. You can see it has slowly started to dim, so it's dim enough now that with this leather glove on, no one will be able to see it.
Fantastic. In that case, I exit, just making sure there's no one in the hall before I do.
We'll do another perception check. I'll say plus 10.
Okay, it's going to be 40. And that's 37.
You can't see nor hear anybody in the hallway outside.
Okay, right. Well, then I quickly but quietly exit the room and close the door behind me. I then try to head back the same way that I came, down the spiral staircase and back out towards the main hall where everyone is having a good time.
Okay, it takes you a fair amount of time. It is 6 stories to get down, but you do make it down. A bit of a sweat on your brow. Now that you're back in, and you can see the music has started playing. Everyone's having a good time, slowly getting inebriated. What's your plan?
The search is going to begin. There was, from my count above, approximately 9 women wearing red, black, and gold.
Yes. Well, red. You saw them wearing dark red.
Right.
You couldn't see the gold or black. But...
Okay. I start to move amongst the dancing crowd, and I'm keeping my eyes set at the headline of everyone else around me, trying to see if I can see a woman's head that might be slightly above the others. This tallness, if it's a factor, I'm kind of hoping it might make her stand out somewhat.
Right, do a perception check.
Okay.
There's a lot of crowd. There's a lot of dancers, so we'll keep it at your base level.
Right, okay. 30. And a 1.
Okay. You are drawn into a few dances along the way. It is just that sort of evening.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't take you very long to spot a tall, young, red-headed woman and wearing dark red. And you do seem to be able to move your way through all the dancers towards her, and almost abruptly, you seem to be dancing with this tall, red-headed woman, and upon her breast you see a nice, large, finely made eagle pendant in black orichalcum.
Wow. I forgot that it's made out of orichalcum. That really is worth a lot. Alright. It's there. Right in front of me, yeah?
You are dancing with the woman.
Okay, alright. Well, I think that's gonna about do us for session 2. We've come a long way. We've managed to get into the castle. I've managed to find this necklace, but now I need to try and find a way to get it off her. That's going to be next time. That's going to be session 3. Until then, stay tuned.